Stop for a second. Think about what you made 5 years ago. Now think about what you make today. You make more. You know you do. So why does it feel exactly the same? Because between your salary and your actual life, there are 6 things quietly taking their cut. You've never seen them listed in one place until now. Maybe you got a raise this year, a real one, not 2%, not 3%, maybe 7%, maybe even more. Your manager was happy. Your coworkers noticed. You celebrated. And then, 6 months later, you sat down to look at your finances and you tried to figure out why, despite earning more than you ever had in your life, you felt exactly the same. No better, not worse, just the same. The math didn't make sense. The raise was real. The money was in your account, but somehow something had eaten it silently, invisibly, without a single moment where you could point and say, there, that's where it went. This video is about that feeling, because you're not alone. And what's happening to your salary in 2026 is one of the most important financial stories nobody is telling clearly. Let's start with a number. From January 2020 to April 2026, the Consumer Price Index rose roughly 29%. In plain English, a dollar in early 2020 now has only about 78 cents of buying power. You didn't lose money. Your account still shows the same number. But what that number can actually buy? It shrank, quietly, steadily, without asking your permission. Now here's the part most finance videos skip over. That 29% is the average. It's a blended number across hundreds of categories. Airline tickets, refrigerators, pet food. But you don't buy averages. You buy specific things. And the specific things you buy, housing, groceries, healthcare, those went up much faster than the average, which means the real hit to your purchasing power is worse than the headline number suggests. Now here's where your raise actually stands. Say your salary went from $67,000 to $72,000, a $5,000 increase. On paper, a 7.4% raise. Inflation last year ran at 3.3%. Your raise beats inflation. So you're ahead, right? Not so fast. Because before you see a single dollar of that raise, something else happens. Something most people have completely stopped thinking about. Here's the part of your paycheck nobody talks about. Your $72,000 salary doesn't arrive as $72,000. Federal income tax takes a cut. FICA, Social Security, and Medicare takes 7.65% off the top, automatically, before you even have a choice. Your take-home after federal taxes? Somewhere around $53,000 to $55,000 a year. That 7% raise in gross salary, in actual take-home money, it's smaller, because tax brackets, FICA, and benefit deductions all erode the gain before it lands. But it gets quieter than that. Your health insurance, your contribution toward family coverage, just the employee share, likely hit $6,850 this year. That's up 6% from last year. Before a single doctor's visit, before a single prescription, before a single copay. The deductible is higher. The out-of-pocket maximum is higher. The network got smaller. You're paying more for insurance that covers less. And almost none of this shows up anywhere you can easily see. It's on a pay stub you scroll past. In a benefits document you sign during open enrollment without reading carefully. In line items that feel like fixed realities, rather than things that changed. But they did change. They changed again this year. And they took a piece of your raise before you ever celebrated it. So let's do the actual math. Nobody does this math. That's exactly the problem. Your raise, $5,000 gross. Federal taxes on that extra income, approximately $1,100. Health insurance increase this year, $390. Other benefit deductions increase, roughly $200. What's left of your $5,000 raise in actual spendable money? About $3,300. Spread over 12 months, that's $275 extra dollars per month. Now let's look at what happened to your costs over the same period. Rent went up $120 a month. Groceries, $80 more per month than last year. Car insurance renewed and jumped $47 a month. Streaming services collectively raised prices. Again, the costs you can't control went up by roughly $280 a month. Your real-world raise was $275 a month. You got a 7% raise and ended up $5 a month behind. $5. The number went up. The reality didn't move. And this is happening to tens of millions of Americans right now. Not because they're bad with money, not because they're not working hard enough, but because the system has a dozen quiet mechanisms all pulling in the same direction, and most people have no idea any of them exist. Now here's where it gets truly strange, because you're not just losing to inflation and taxes, you're losing to something else, something with no name most people know, something called shrinkflation, and then something even sneakier called skimpflation. Here's what shrinkflation actually is. You go to the grocery store, you buy the same cereal you always buy, same box, same price, maybe even a little cheaper this week. There's a sale. You bring it home. You don't notice that the box is 3 ounces lighter than it was 18 months ago, because the box looks the same. The packaging looks the same. The photo of the cereal bowl on the front looks exactly the same. But inside, less cereal, same price, less product. This isn't small or recent. Packaged food sizes decreased by an average of 14.6% from 2012 to 2019 alone, and it hasn't stopped. 61% of American consumers noticed smaller packaging for the same price in the past year. But here's what researchers find fascinating. Even when people notice, most don't switch brands. There's a term for it now, the resignation effect. We know we're getting less. We buy it anyway, and the companies know this. A study in marketing science found that consumers are roughly 2 times more sensitive to a price increase than to an equivalent size reduction, meaning if chips go from $4.99 to $5.49, people notice, some switch. But if the bag quietly goes from 9 ounces to 7.5 ounces, same $4.99 sticker price, most people don't notice. And the ones who do, most buy it anyway. The companies have known this for years. That's why they do it. But in 2026, shrinkflation evolved. Brands got caught. Reddit communities started tracking it. Consumers shared side-by-side photos. The strategy was losing its invisibility, so the companies got smarter. They stopped making packages smaller. Instead, they started changing what's inside. This is skimpflation. Same size box, same weight, same price. But the recipe changed. More water in the soup, cheaper oil replacing the better one. The chocolate coating on your candy bar quietly reformulated. Less cocoa butter, more palm oil substitute. The protein powder you've been buying for 2 years, same tub, same label, same price, the formula changed. Slightly less protein per serving. You can't see it. You usually can't taste it, not right away. You won't find it on the front of the package. You'd have to read the fine print ingredient list and compare it to one from 18 months ago to catch it. Most people never do. You've probably been buying the same products, feeling like you're spending the same amount, but getting quietly less and worse for your money every single time. And here's the most important part. This doesn't show up in any inflation calculation. The CPI doesn't capture quality reductions. The government cannot measure it at scale. So officially, prices are stable. Unofficially, your dollar is buying less product and worse product simultaneously. That is a form of inflation completely invisible to every official economic tool we have.
But there's a third force at work on your salary in 2026. Something even fewer people are tracking. It's called tariff pass-through, and most people don't even know it's happening to them. Here's how it works. The government imposed tariffs, taxes on imported goods. Companies that import products now pay more to bring those goods into the country. They don't absorb that cost, they pass it to you, but not cleanly, not with a line item on your receipt that says tariff surcharge $3.40. They pass it invisibly, fewer discounts than usual, weaker sale promotions. The coupon you used to get every week, it just stopped appearing. Goldman Sachs research found that consumers bear up to 55% of tariff costs, meaning for every dollar in tariffs imposed, American consumers end up paying 55 cents of it without any direct warning that it's happening. The average American household will pay roughly $700 more this year due to tariffs, on top of regular inflation, on top of shrinkflation, on top of skimpflation. And here's the detail almost no one is talking about. The de minimis exemption ended in August 2025. This was a rule that let international shipments under $800 enter the U.S. tax-free. It's what made cheap international online shopping possible. It's gone. That $22 jacket from an overseas retailer, it now faces import duties that push the real cost to $35 or $40. The $15 phone case, same story. You've probably been shopping online the same way you have for 5 years, buying from the same places, but without any notification knowing the entire cost structure of what you buy just changed underneath you. You didn't get an email. The checkout page looks the same, but the money leaving your account is going further and buying less. Now here's what all of this means for what a salary is actually supposed to buy. Because this isn't just about groceries and subscriptions, this is about life. In 2026, the median mortgage payment in the United States reached $2,070 per month. Think about what that means for you. If you make $72,000 after taxes, you take home about $4,300 a month. A home home with that median mortgage payment means you're spending $2,070 out of $4,300. That's 48% of your take-home pay. Before groceries, before healthcare, before your car, before subscriptions. The old rule, the one financial advisors have repeated for decades, was to spend no more than 28% of your gross income on housing. At $2,070 per month, a mortgage takes 34% of a $72,000 gross income. To follow the traditional 28% rule, you'd need a home worth roughly $220,000 to $240,000. The median U.S. home price right now, $420,000. There is no version of the old advice that works anymore. The rules didn't change. The prices did. This is why so many people making more money than their parents ever made still can't afford what their parents had. The goalpost moved quietly over years without announcement. So what do you actually do about this? Because the people who are getting ahead in 2026 aren't making dramatically more money. They're just thinking about their salary differently. They don't think about their gross number. They think about their functional salary, what their money actually buys after everything that erodes it. And they make 5 specific choices that most people never make. First, they completely rethink where they keep their cash reserves. Instead of leaving an emergency fund sitting idle in a standard checking account, they research their options and move it into a better saving strategy they can find. The result? That same money starts working harder just by sitting in a better place. No extra effort, just one smarter decision about where your money lives. Second, they track unit prices, not shelf prices. Unit prices, price per ounce, per serving, per gram. When a product shrinks, they notice because the unit price jumps and they switch. No loyalty to brands, loyalty to value. Third, they do a subscription audit. They find subscriptions they had either forgotten about or hadn't used in months. They cancel them. Most people save $50 to $100 a month from a single 1-hour audit. Fourth, they understand tariffs. They buy specific electronics and household goods strategically at the right time before price increases hit. Not panic buying, strategic buying. Things they'd buy anyway, purchased with timing and awareness. Fifth, they price their salary against where they live. $68,000 in Columbus, Ohio, and $68,000 in Austin, Texas do not buy the same life. Remote work has made location flexibility a real option for more people than ever before. The people winning in 2026 treat location as a financial decision, not just a lifestyle one.
But here's where the story gets uncomfortable, because this isn't just about individual choices. It goes deeper than that. 81%. That is the percentage of Americans who set financial goals for 2025 and did not stick to them. Not 30%, not 50%, 81%. And when researchers asked why, the number one answer wasn't spending habits. It wasn't discipline. It wasn't financial literacy. It was cost of living. More than half of Americans with financial goals in 2026 are already seeing those goals derailed before the year is half over. And here's what doesn't appear in any statistic: the psychological toll. There's a concept researchers call financial margin, the buffer between what you make and what you spend, the breathing room that lets you handle a car repair without panic, a medical bill without dread, a job change without catastrophe. For decades, the middle class was defined by having margin. In 2026, affordable living increasingly means survival with less slack, smaller apartments or longer commutes, delayed doctor's visits until small problems become expensive emergencies, a second job not to get ahead, just to stay in place. The middle class didn't disappear. It got repriced out of the stability that used to define it. And the shift happened slowly enough that each generation could be told they were doing something wrong. Not working hard enough, spending on avocado toast. They weren't doing anything wrong. The prices changed. The wages didn't keep up. And 6 quiet forces worked in the same direction: inflation, shrinkflation, skimpflation, tariff pass-through, subscription creep, healthcare cost erosion. All quietly, all simultaneously, while nobody was putting them into one story that was easy to understand. Until now. What you actually do. So here's what you do. Not someday. This week. Step 1. Calculate your real salary. Take your gross number. Subtract your actual tax rate. Subtract every benefit deduction. Health insurance, dental, retirement contributions, HSA. That final number, that is your actual starting point, not the number your employer announced. Most people have never done this calculation. Do it this week. Step 2. Switch to unit unit price thinking. When you buy groceries, stop looking at the sticker price. Look at the price per ounce on the shelf tag. This one habit will save most people $600 to $1,200 per year. Zero sacrifice in what they consume, just awareness. Step 3. Do a subscription audit. Open your bank statements. Last 3 months. Write down every recurring charge. Ask one question. Did I use this in the past 30 days? If no, cancel. Don't think about using it someday. Cancel. Step 4. If you have location flexibility, price your salary against where you live. The same salary does not buy the same life in every city. Remote work made this a real option for more people than ever before. Use it if you can. Step 5. Stop measuring yourself by your gross salary. That number is what you're promised. What you actually have, after taxes, benefit erosion, shrinkflation, tariffs, subscription creep, is meaningfully smaller. The gap between what your salary says and what your salary does, that is the most important financial number in your life. And in 2026, that gap has never been wider. Here's the truth about your raise. You earned it. You deserved it. Your employer paid it. And somehow, by the time it filtered through taxes, benefit increases, inflation, shrinkflation, skimpflation, tariff costs, and subscription creep, it bought you almost nothing new. Not because you did anything wrong, not because your employer cheated you, but because your salary passes through a system that has 12 different hands taking quiet portions before it reaches your actual life. Understanding those hands, naming them, tracking them, fighting back against the ones you can control, that's the difference between feeling financially stuck forever and actually finding the room to move. You're not imagining it. The number went up. The reality didn't. And now you know why. 32 minutes of this changed something about how you see your paycheck. Subscribe, because the next video is going to show you the specific numbers of where American wealth is actually going right now, and the answer is going to surprise you.